But look, it's the transfer window closed yesterday. Are you kind of how are you looking at the transfer window?
Mixed bag, I think. I think it's good that we are starting to lower the average age of the squad.
Yeah.
You know, I think under Mourinho it's starting to be under Poch. It was one of the youngest in the. It was the youngest in the league.
But it was
24.
getting there under Poch, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it started to age a little bit under. I can't talk it so early.
Pochettino.
Pochettino, thank you. And then Mourinho, it started to get average age around 28. So we've really lowered the average age. I think there's some good young prospects in there, which I'm really excited about, especially Hill. On the flip side of that, to balance the argument, I would say no one's really come in that you know is going to be a first teamer straight away. You know, there's sort of players that are going to have to work their way in. I would have really liked to see a playmaker come in, you know, a creative player in the middle of the park, and a backup striker. But I would say, though, that it's better than transfer windows gone by, isn't it?
I would say on that playmaker thing, do you not think that if he can get an Ndombele on side, that he can fill that role?
I would love to see Ndom. That again, that's another reason why it's a positive window. You know, kept Harry Kane for another season, kept Ndombele in there, and if you can get a tune out of Ndombele, I think that he would actually thrive in this team.
So do we need a playmaker if Ndombele can?
Yeah, but it all depends on his attitude and if he's actually going to show up. You know, if he's going to dig his heels in and you know, throw his toys out the pram, then we're a little bit missing in that position, I think. But if he actually does, if he shows a good attitude like he did last season, I think it's going to be like buying a new player. So I think it's a kind of
how many years do we say? Every year,
I know every year
with a player coming back in.
I know.
It's just like signing a new
I know,
player.
we always say that,
to
don't
Daniel
we?
Levy's, that's what he loves to hear, doesn't he?
What do you think about the window? Like, what would you judge it out of 10? And what are the positives and negatives from the window?
For me, I gave it between a 6 and a 7 last night. I think the players that we kept hold of, top quality. Obviously, Harry Kane, Ndombele, if we can get him on side. But you know, Ndombele has absolute star quality. If he can fulfill it, that's a different story. But I think now he's now the window's shut. Now Ndombele stayed at Spurs. I think he has to knuckle down now, doesn't he? Because he kind of can run the risk of his career just like kind of whimpering away, can't he? Because if he doesn't have a good season now at Tottenham, that's probably half a good season after 3 years at Spurs, right? Yeah. And who's going to take him?
Yeah, exactly. Knowing his attitude and all that, you know, knowing that he falls out with every manager almost, you know.
And not only that, but the guy's on 200 grand a week.
Yeah.
And Daniel Levy's going to want like 60 million for him.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he's fearing, like, if he doesn't have a good season this year, he could really whimper away as a football player.
True. You know, it'd be quite nice to see him having a little bit of a competition for places with Dele Alli, I think. And then also you've got Skip. I think Skip and the Celso can almost rotate a little bit as well, depending on like the fixture.
Well, the thing is with Skip, he's playing like the furthest back in the midfield three. So I think the only other player that can play his role is Højbjerg. I mean, the other player that's probably fighting for that role is Harry Winks, but I'm surprised
we've all given up on him.
I'm surprised that Harry Winks has stayed beyond this window. Apparently he's really impressed Nuno.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, don't.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But you asked me about how I kind of assess this transfer window, and let me just run through it. So Galini came in replacement for Joe Hart, right? That's a massive upgrade. You got to say that. Christian Romero's come in for Toby Alderweireld. I think Christian Romero got centre back of the year in Italy last year, but I don't read too much into these kind of accolades, you know, because I remember Kolasinac for Arsenal got left back of the year in Germany and then he moved to Arsenal the next year.
And look what happened.
And look at him now, you know what I mean? So you can't really read too much into it. I think when a player goes into a new league, when he goes into a new environment, you see what kind of player he really is. And I think Christian Romero, I'm very kind of hopeful and I'm very excited about him, that's for sure. But you've got to air caution with all your signings.
Look at Fazio.
You've got to air caution with all your signings. Yeah. The thing is with Fazio, right, he was so slow. He had no mobility whatsoever. He just had height and brute. Romero, I mean, he's got physicality, he's got strength, he's got pace. He's very super aggressive. So I think he can thrive in the Premier League. I just think that the way people are talking about him being like, oh, he's like the best defender since sliced bread. You've got to just
keep your feet on the ground. You do. You definitely do. Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. I'm very excited.
Yeah,
about
I'm
him.
excited about it. Yeah. But if we just look at it, I mean, we have lost our best centre back. If we're being honest, admittedly he was ageing, but we have lost our best centre back. We've lost our best right back. And we've obviously replaced and we've got cover in those positions. Admittedly, one of them's Doherty. So for me, it's still almost treading water, if you know what I mean, this window. If you look at last year's window, you know, some people saying that was a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
But I think that at the time, people said it's a 9 out of 10. But actually, when we assessed it 6 months down the line...
It probably wasn't, was it?
It wasn't
well, we know it wasn't.
It wasn't at all.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the transfer window last year, Joe Hart, 1 out of 10 transfer. Regulon, good transfer. Højbjerg, good transfer. Gareth Bale on loan, good transfer. You would say 10 goals. You can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Who else came in last year?
Vinicius.
Did his job.
Did his job. Yeah. Europa League player, isn't he?
Did his job.
Yeah.
And that's it, really, wasn't it? So. And Joe Rodon, obviously.
Yeah, Joe Rodon. We're not seeing. Where is Joe Rodon?
Yeah, exactly. Where is Joe Rodon?
Wanted Joe Rodon. Last seen.
So actually, when you think about the signings we made last summer, it was like the beginning of the rebuild. Last summer was the beginning of the rebuild where Højbjerg came in, who's going to be...
Oh, and Doherty. Did you mention Doherty?
Oh, yeah, Doherty. Doherty needs to... I mean,
we'll
get into
that in a minute.
But the way I kind of assess last year's transfer window... I would have given it, like now, I give it still a 6 or a 7. But I think it's the start of the rebuild where you've got a left back for a long time, you've got a centre midfielder for a long time. Both of them are very, very good players. But apart from that, we don't really have any long-term transfers in that batch.
Do you know what's funny? When you look at that transfer window from last year, the one that was like most underwhelming for me at the time was Højbjerg. And actually, he turned out to be the best.
It works out like that sometimes.
Sometimes that just happens, doesn't it? He turned out to be an absolute catch.
He did. And it's not just the way he is on the pitch, but it's his mentality in there.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's his footballing brain and the way he's a leader on the pitch. He's like pretty much the captain without being the captain.
Well, I think probably when Lloris goes, he will be captain. I hope he... Yeah,
Do you not think they'll give it to Kane if Kane stays?
Well, I just think that Lloris, when he... I mean, I think this is probably Lloris's last season, I'm guessing. And when he goes, I would really like to see Højbjerg take the armband, captain's armband.
Interesting.
Personally, what do you think in the comments section? Who do you think should take the captain's armband? I'd like to know.
Definitely up there. But as I was saying, Bryan Gil for Lamela, I think that's definitely a step in the right direction. I mean, whatever you say about Eric Lamela, whatever you say about how he always gives 100%, how he's always great to come off the bench and that, like... We just can't get him on the pitch as much as we would like to. I mean, if we could get him on the pitch week in, week out, I would have kept him. But you just can't.
Yeah. He's held together with chewing gum and spit, isn't he? Yeah. That's the problem.
Literally.
But I actually thought he had a good season last season, Lamela.
He did. You know? But still, too many injuries.
No, far too many injuries, you know. And he was there 7 years, wasn't he? Yeah. And he hasn't really improved. Any one of those seasons, he didn't really kick on, did he?
Scored a Rabona against Arsenal.
Good memories. But yeah.
And then Emerson Royale ahead of Serge Aurier, which for me...
Talk to me about Emerson then.
For me, about Emerson, what it seems as though we got... I mean, I've never seen him play a full game of football. I've just seen a few clips here and read up about him. But what it seems to me is that he's like a bit of a younger version of Serge Aurier.
I know. That's
But I'm excited about him, though, because I think that... With Emerson on the right, with Reguilon on the left, we can go some way to replacing that Kyle Walker and Danny Rose thing where we would like up and down the pitch all day long. Because you can't do that with Doherty. You can't do that with Doherty. And you couldn't do that with Ben Davis, and you couldn't do that with all the other left backs we had apart from Reguilon. Reguilon can do that.
Will he come straight in, do you think, or not? Or do you think that he's going to be bled into the team?
I think it's tough on Jaff to take him out straight away.
Yeah.
I think he needs to earn his stripes, doesn't he?
And then what's going to happen to Tanganga, do you think?
Tanganga will be our backup right back, backup centre back. I think he'll be a bit of a utility player this year.
Yeah, okay. Would you like to see him move a bit more inside? Maybe take centre back spot?
Yeah, I think his number one position. I think he's a natural centre back.
The right-sided centre back.
Yeah, that's what
potentially.
I think.
Yeah, maybe take Dyer's place.
Yeah, but Dyer usually plays on a left, so I think that I don't know because what centre back pairing would you like to see this season? Who's your number one centre back pairing?
Dear. This is well, I think Romero's going to have to come in, isn't he? And I think You could give Romero and Sanchez a run.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know, you could give those two a run. But I would like to see Tanganga being given a shot at centre-back at some point.
I would like to see Tanganga maybe used for the Conference League and the Cup games predominantly at first in the centre-back role to see how he gets on. I just don't think he looks like a natural fullback to me on the pitch, the way his body moves.
Tanganga?
Yeah.
Like when he's going forwards?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Doesn't have that doesn't have the same cross that like an Aurier would.
Yeah. So you saw that game last week when Tanganga was getting in great positions on that right-hand side, but not once did he put in a good cross. Not once.
No. I mean, he was whipping the ball in, but it was just a case of just get it in there somewhere, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
There was no real precision to it.
No.
Yeah.
So I think that in terms of the transfer window, when you couple it with last year's transfer window, I think that the rebuild is well and truly on the way.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, the average age of the squad is dramatically going down, which is music to our ears. And I think that will put us one step into like kind of being able to like press teams into submission, being able to be fitter than other teams, being able to be running more than other teams. You know, that's what was our X factor under Pochettino.
Of course, yeah.
That's what the X factor was. And I mean, we could have lower class of players than the teams that are better than us. You know, the Man Cities, the Chelseas, the Man Uniteds. You know what I mean? We can have like kind of worse players than them, but we can outfight them and beat them.
Yeah. I like that dimension to us where we're just really explosive. You know, loads of pace. We're quick in the transition. I really like that when we play in that way. It's a weapon. It's a real weapon, isn't it? Just quickly on that. So Rodon, where does Rodon come into this for you in the picture? Because it almost feels as though he's being pushed more and more, like, you know, more and more disenfranchised every time we sort of talk about him. I mean, do you still see him as a first choice, or is he now like just a fringe
I don't think he's ever
defender?
been a first choice, to be honest.
And what is it about his game that you think Nuno and Jose didn't like?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because he came in, didn't get much game time at all, and then he started to like knuckle down a spot under Jose, didn't he? And then Jose got sacked, and then he Mason never picked him again for the rest of the season. Went to the Euros with Wales, had a brilliant Euros with Wales. Everyone was very impressed. You know, put in good performances in big games like against Italy and teams like that. Came back to Tottenham and was never seen again. I don't even think he didn't start one pre-season game. Even the ones he was back for, I think he came on for the Arsenal game the last 10 minutes. That was about it. And he's been injured now since the start of the season. So it's difficult for him. I think he's got a lot of work to do. I believe in Joe Rodon, though. Yeah. Every time I've seen him play, I've liked the look of him.
I mean, it could be a Romero-Rodon partnership if it comes off, this season. Potentially. And then Sanchez could be like the third choice. And then I would look to move Dyer on, personally.
Yeah, I would. But I think with Davinson Sanchez, you just can't take him out of the team at the moment.
No, not at the moment. No way. No.
I mean, he's looking really good, isn't he?
Very dynamic, yeah.
The thing is with Sanchez, right? At his age, shouldn't we be giving him more patience? Because I know, me and you have had so many chats over the years and being like, we don't like Davinson Sanchez, we're happy for him to go, and we were actively looking to sell him this summer, and both of us pretty much agreed this summer, like, we're happy to get rid of him.
Did we?
Well, I said that.
Yeah, I can't remember if I said that or not. I think I wanted him as third choice.
Maybe you said that, yeah. But I think me and Simeon were both saying, like, we're happy for him to move on.
You wanted him to go.
We're happy for him to move on. But is that a bit rash? Because he's look at his age, right? He's a young player, pretty much the same age as Joe Rodon, right? And he's got all the attributes to succeed in the Premier League. He's big, he's strong, he's physical, he's quick. He just has these brain farts every so often.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
Can that be coached out?
I'm not sure, but if you think about this time last season, I think we actually had a pretty good start defensively, didn't we, for the first third of the season? And Dyer was looking great, got that 10 out of 10 performance against City, which you got. So we've still got to be aware of that. As good as the performances are now, there could be those brain farts that come in, and they can look great for 89 minutes, and they have that one brain fart, and it costs us the 3 points or whatever, and that's when people are going to be going, that's the Sanchez that we were worried about.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I would say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep it going, but then just keep an eye on that. And know that he does have the potential to make those gaffes. But I would say just I think he's come back with a bit of a renewed sense of purpose this season.
It was actually
he had a good Copa America, didn't he?
He did, and it was also said that he was also taken aback by all the interest shown of him over the summer. You know, Seville were trying to go in hard for him, and apparently, what Alistair Gold was saying, he came back to Tottenham with a renewed sense of confidence, more confident than he's ever been because of these teams who are after him.
Yeah, and also something that I've noticed is his delivery's looking a lot better than it did last season. His passing range.
Where's that come from? Where's it come from?
No, against I can't remember who it was. Well, the last game, Watford. It was like Toby Pings coming out, like straight to feet, you know, unbelievable. And we were talking about him as one of the worst bringing the ball out from the back as well. So if he's worked on that, that's an excellent quality he's brought to his game there.
Definitely agree.